There is a sacred law behind your hardship. The deeper the night, the closer the dawn. The greater your struggle, the greater your soul is preparing to rise. What you are facing is not a mistake. It is an invitation. Life is not happening to you, it is happening through you and for you. The pressure you feel is not breaking you, it is making you. Everything you call a struggle is simply life showing you what you still believe about yourself. It's showing you where you have assumed weakness, where you have accepted limitation, where you have not yet claimed your divine power. The struggle only exists because you have not yet imagined yourself beyond it. The moment you assume it is finished, the moment you dwell in the state of freedom, the path begins to open. You see, reality bends to your inner acceptance, not to your effort, not to your force, but to your inner assumption. If you walk around believing your struggle defines you, you create a loop of delay. But the moment you rise and assume the end, you command reality to reorganize. And it does. There is no mountain you must climb, no problem you must solve. There is only a version of you that already exists, free, whole, fulfilled. And you must align with that version now. Close your eyes. Feel the end, not the process, not the question, not the waiting, just the end. Feel what it's like to have the thing you've cried for. Feel what it's like to know it's yours. Breathe there. Live there. And when you open your eyes, walk like it's done. You may still see shadows of struggle. Don't be fooled. That's just the echo of your old state. You have shifted. Reality is catching up. Let the pain be the proof that something bigger is coming. Let the resistance remind you how powerful you truly are. Don't curse the struggle. Bless it. It's lifting you. Because the truth is simple. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the breakthrough. And the breakthrough is already yours. Struggles are not punishments. They are sacred preparations. Life is not withholding from you. It is readying you. Every hardship you endure, every obstacle that rises in your path, every moment where it feels like everything is against you, it is all part of a deeper unfolding. The magnitude of your struggle is not a sign of failure or disfavor, but a divine measurement of the blessing that is forming behind the veil. You are not being abandoned. You are being expanded. When something extraordinary is coming, it requires a vessel strong enough, wide enough, deep enough to carry it. And you, in your current form, may not yet be ready to hold what you have asked for. So life begins to shape you. It bends you. It tests your foundation. The weight you feel pressing against you is not there to crush you, but to stretch you. To stretch your faith, your patience, your vision, your endurance. Is asking, can you hold more than you've ever held before? And that's what struggle really is. It's the invisible hands of transformation molding you into someone greater, into someone who no longer reacts with fear, but responds with clarity. Someone who no longer doubts their worth, but walks with unshakable inner knowing. Someone who no longer looks for evidence outside, but feels the truth of it within. Most people misread struggle as punishment. They say, why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But that is the illusion. You did not do something wrong, you did something right. You dared to dream, you dared to ask for more, you dared to believe there's something beyond the life you've been living, and because of that, life is responding. The storm isn't a rejection, it's a recalibration. The chaos isn't confusion, it's construction. You are not the victim of your external conditions, you are the creator of a new internal state. As you hold a new self-concept, a new belief, a new vision, your reality begins to shift in response. But before it can bloom, the old must be dismantled. And that dismantling doesn't always feel pretty. It feels like loss. It feels like fear. It feels like things falling apart. But remember, what feels like falling apart is often just a higher order coming together. When you feel like everything is being stripped from you, understand this. You are not being punished. You are being prepared to hold something far greater than you could have imagined. The vessel of your life is being expanded to hold a deeper peace, a bigger love, a higher abundance. So don't curse your struggle. Don't run from it. Don't resent it. Honor it. Walk through it with your head high. Let it do its holy work in you. For what awaits on the other side is not just a blessing. It is the version of you who is always meant to receive it. You are not meant to run from the storm. You are not here to escape the difficulty, to find a way around it, or to wait for it to pass so you can breathe again. You are meant to go through it, not as a victim, but as a creator discovering their strength. The purpose of the storm is not to harm you, but to awaken you. It is not your enemy, it is your teacher. So many spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort, trying to shield themselves from the messiness of transformation. But the truth is, transformation is rarely gentle. It arrives like a wind that overturns everything that is small, false, or fragile within you. The storm comes to strip away what you no longer need, the outdated beliefs, the borrowed identities, the illusions you've carried for far too long. And in the middle of that chaos, something holy begins to emerge. A deeper part of you wakes up, a part of you that does not collapse under pressure, but rises because of it. You stop trying to change the outer world and instead shift your inner state. You no longer beg for peace. You become it. You become the calm in the eye of the storm. This is the secret the world forgets. You are not meant to fight the storm. You are meant to still it by transforming yourself. You do not escape the pain by denying it. You transmute it by allowing it to show you where your power has been hidden. Every challenge, every dark night, every betrayal or setback is coded with the opportunity to remember who you truly are. The storm you are facing is not a sign that you are weak. It is the very evidence that you are ready to rise. It only feels unbearable because it is calling you to shed the layers of who you are not. It is calling you to remember that you are not your circumstances, not your mistakes, not your emotions. You are the observer, the chooser, the imaginer. You are the stillness beneath the waves, the light that never flickers, the essence that remains even when everything else falls away. So when the storm rages, don't run. Sit in the center of it and breathe. Let the winds tear away your doubt. Let the rain wash away your fear. Let the thunder echo the truth that was always within you. That you are unshakable when you choose to be. That your peace is not tied to conditions, but to the state you dwell in. You don't climb out of the storm by resisting it. You rise through it by becoming the presence that transforms it. You become the calm, not by waiting for everything to settle, but by choosing that stillness in the middle of it all. And when you do, you don't just survive the storm, you transcend it. And what once threatened to break you becomes the very thing that reveals your power. Pain is not the enemy, resistance is. When you fight what you feel, you become trapped by it. But when you fully allow yourself to feel, without judgment, without fear, without rushing to escape, you step into the secret doorway of transformation. The struggle is not something to overcome by force. It is something to pass through with feeling. And that feeling, when aligned with your desired end, becomes the key that unlocks a new reality. Most people resist pain because they believe it shouldn't be there. They see discomfort as a problem to fix, a signal that something is wrong. But what if pain was not wrong? What if it was a necessary fire, burning away everything that no longer serves your highest vision? What if feeling the pain fully was the very act that alchemizes it into power. You see, the path through struggle is not numbness. It is not denial. It is presence. When you bring your full awareness to the pain, when you meet it with love instead of resistance, it begins to shift. It no longer controls you. It becomes energy in motion. And in that motion, you can redirect it. This is where the secret lies. In the middle of the storm, you do not need to fix the outer world. You need only to feel the inner world differently. When you close your eyes, breathe deeply and assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Even while everything around you screams otherwise, you are stepping out of the known and into the creative. Struggle exists when your current state contradicts your inner desire. But when you feel from the desire already fulfilled, you collapse that contradiction. You bring the two into harmony. And that harmony creates movement. Movement not just inside, but outside. Life begins to mirror what you hold in consciousness, not what you beg for or stress over. You must stop asking, when will it end, and begin asking, what would I feel like if it were already done? That is the feeling that ends the struggle. That is the inner alignment that gives birth to the breakthrough. And this is not about pretending. It is about knowing. It is about touching the feeling so deeply that it becomes more real than your current circumstances. You carry the emotion of peace even when chaos surrounds you. You hold the vibration of abundance even when the bank account says lack. You feel loved even when you are alone. That kind of feeling is not fantasy. It is faith in action. It is the choice to live from the truth that all creation begins within. You do not feel after the change. You feel before it. And that feeling makes it inevitable. So when the pain arises, let it come. Do not run. Let it teach you. Let it burn through the layers of fear. And then, within that space of openness, fill it with the feeling of what you've been praying for. Dwell there, live there, and soon the struggle will dissolve. Not because you forced it to, but because you no longer needed it to stay. The struggle you feel is not born from the world around you. It's born from what you have accepted within you. You are not fighting against people, conditions, or events. You are wrestling with your own assumptions, and those assumptions are shaping everything you see, feel, and experience. The outer world is not the source of your suffering. It is the mirror of your state. Every day you walk through a reality constructed by your inner beliefs. If you assume limitation, life gives you limits. If you assume rejection, you meet it in every interaction. If you assume delay, your desires seem to drift further out of reach. But the moment you change the assumption, the moment you decide something else is true, the struggle begins to dissolve. It's not the facts that bind you, it's your agreement with them. Most people are not aware they are assuming anything. They think they are just facing reality, but what is reality really? It is only a reflection of what has been accepted as true on the inside. It is the echo of yesterday's beliefs. And when you believe in struggle, when you assume that breakthrough is hard, that change takes time, that success is for someone else, life reflects that back to you perfectly. You must realize that your assumptions are not passive, they are creative, they are alive. They are the seeds from which your world grows. If you assume lack, it multiplies. If you assume abundance, it begins to show up in ways you never expected. The change begins not when things shift outwardly, but when you shift inwardly and hold firm to a new assumption, one that aligns with your highest vision. The struggle ends the moment you refuse to believe in it. You don't have to fight it. You simply have to assume something else is already true. The version of you who has already overcome it doesn't struggle. They don't worry. They don't wonder if it will happen. They rest in the certainty that it is done. When you rise in consciousness and say, I no longer accept this as my truth, you initiate a quiet revolution within. That inner shift sends out ripples that reorganize everything around you. You do not have to figure out how it changes. You only have to remain loyal to the new assumption. This is not about pretending or positive thinking. It is about spiritual law. As you assume, so shall it be. Hold to the assumption that you are already healed, already whole, already chosen, already blessed. And life must conform. The moment you wake up to this truth, the struggle begins to collapse like a dream when you open your eyes. You realize it was never the world that held you back. It was the story you kept repeating to yourself. Change the story. Change the assumption, and the struggle will vanish like mist in the morning light. Delay is not denial. It is divine orchestration. What seems like a pause, a blockage, or a detour is often the most sacred part of the journey. It is not a punishment or a rejection. It is timing in its highest form. There is a rhythm to your life, a spiritual clock that does not operate on your impatience, but on alignment, readiness, and transformation. When you ask for something, deeply, sincerely, life begins to shift. But what you often don't realize is that the answer isn't always immediate, because you are not always ready to receive it in full. And that's not a flaw in you, it's part of the process. You're becoming the version of yourself who can not only receive the blessing, but hold it, grow it, and carry the responsibility it brings. The delay is not empty. It's not a waiting room where nothing happens. It is the pressure of spiritual energy, building and aligning everything within and around you. That tension you feel, the restlessness, the doubt, the longing, is not a sign that it's not coming. It's a sign that it's near. You're being stretched, expanded, prepared. The ground beneath your feet is being strengthened for something bigger than you asked for. We often beg for speed, thinking fast is better, but the truth is, what comes too soon can collapse just as quickly. You may want the breakthrough, but life wants you to be anchored first. Because real manifestation isn't about the moment of arrival. It's about becoming the person who lives in that new reality without fear of losing it. You must shift from chasing outcomes to cultivating states. Ask yourself, am I becoming the one who would naturally live the life I desire? That is the real work. Not forcing change outwardly, but transforming inwardly. Delay is where this alchemy happens. The longer it takes, the more powerful it becomes, because you are growing into someone greater than you once imagined. Spiritual timing is precise. It is never early. It is never late. It is aligned with your becoming. And that means every moment of delay is not time wasted. It is evidence that something sacred is underway. You are not being denied. You are being developed. So stop looking outward for confirmation. Walk inward. Strengthen your inner state. Deepen your trust. Anchor your identity in the end result, not in the current delay. Say to yourself, it is already done. I may not see it, but I know it. That knowing is what dissolves the illusion of delay. That knowing is what activates alignment. Alignment. Delay is only painful when you doubt its purpose. But when you trust it, you begin to see the hidden genius in the timing. You begin to feel grateful even in the waiting, because you know, deep down, that the longer it takes, the greater it will be. And when it arrives, it won't just meet your expectations, it will exceed them. Because you didn't settle. You aligned, you expanded, you trusted. And now the blessing is shaped not only for you, but by you. Breakthrough is not something that arrives from the outside, it is something that unfolds from within. And the paradox is this: the moment you stop desperately needing a breakthrough is the very moment it begins to appear. When you release the grasping, the craving, the pleading for things to shift, you enter into a space of true power. You are no longer driven by fear of lack. You are anchored in the knowing that what you seek is already yours. You see, many people live in a constant state of hoping, waiting, and striving. They chase outcomes, force timing, and beg the universe for change. But that very posture of lack, of desperation, of needing, is the thing that keeps the breakthrough at bay. Because needing implies you don't yet have. It affirms separation. It says, I am not yet the one who receives. And the world reflects that assumption perfectly. But when you drop the need and enter the state of fulfillment, everything shifts. You stop looking for signs because you already feel the truth. You stop measuring time because you are living from the end. You stop controlling the outer because you have mastered the inner. That is where breakthrough begins. Not in force, but in surrender. Not in chasing, but in being. The real breakthrough is you. It's the shift in consciousness, the internal alignment with the version of yourself that already has the thing you once longed for. You no longer need it to arrive because you know it already exists in the unseen. You have assumed the identity of the one who has it, and that assumption moves mountains. Reality is obedient. It does not respond to begging. It responds to belief. When you walk as if it is already done, when you speak, think, and feel from that state, you collapse the distance between desire and manifestation. There is no delay when there is no doubt. This is not about giving up. It is about letting go of attachment. It is about stepping into a deeper trust, one that says, I no longer need proof. My feeling is the proof. My inner knowing is enough. That level of certainty magnetizes results. It draws them in not because you need them, but because you are already aligned with them. The moment you stop needing the breakthrough, you reveal your power. You stop being a seeker and you become a creator. You realize the outer world is a mirror, not a master. And as you change, it must follow. The breakthrough doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. It is born the instant you shift from waiting to knowing, from striving to being. Let that be your turning point. Don't chase what is already yours. Don't plead with what is already promised. Instead, stand still, close your eyes, and feel the joy of it fulfilled. Dwell there. Live from there. That's where the real breakthrough lives. And once you embody that state, the outer has no choice but to respond. The struggle you face is not a sign that you're failing. It's the evidence that something greater is unfolding through you. Each delay, each challenge, each moment of tension is preparing you, not punishing you. You are not here to escape the storm, but to become the calm within it. The breakthrough you seek is not out there waiting to arrive. It's already alive within you, waiting for your recognition. When you shift your assumptions, feel your desires as already fulfilled, and let go of the need for proof, the world must bend to match your inner state. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the breakthrough. Not because life is testing you, but because you are expanding to receive more than you imagined. The moment you stop chasing and start embodying, the breakthrough is no longer a possibility, it becomes inevitable. Sincere thanks. Thank you for listening with an open heart and a willing spirit. May these words awaken the strength, the peace, and the power that already live within you. Keep rising, keep trusting. The breakthrough is already yours.